everybody, this is Ryan at Trinity Medical, and I'm here to give you a basic overview of foam rolling today. So I'll take you through a little routine as well, show you some different sizes, variations of foam rollers, and just get you acquainted with it. So I want you guys to feel comfortable when you are foam rolling. If you need a quick reference, this is what I'm here for. So I'll show you, we have this large gray foam roller, which this is just dense foam. So these tend to kind of give out over time. They'll start to develop a little bit of a dip, which as you might be able to see with this one, it's kind of got a little bit of curve. It's not as round anymore. Still works just the same. And this black one here has a flat side and then a nub side. So you can kind of transition back and forth. And it is also made out of PVC. So it's got the inner core is PVC, so it's a lot more dense than these two here. And then this is your travel size, which actually fits right inside of this black one, so you can take them both with you. So if you need a little less pressure versus a lot more pressure, kind of just take them both with you and can take it on the move. All right, so what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna take you through from the calves to the hamstrings to the glutes, upper back, just right about this area here, and then quads. And it's going to be a really, really basic routine. I'm going to give you some tips just to make you guys feel a little bit more comfortable. We'll just get right to it. So I'm going to use my green roller today. So beginning with the calves, place it about mid-leg, right between your foot, or the back of your heel and your knee. Set yourself up, get nice and comfortable here. That is the whole point. I want you guys to feel comfortable throughout the video. I don't want you to have to struggle. This is more for you to just get acquainted with the foam roller that you have. Maybe if you bought a more dense roller like the black one, you might have to transition to one of these before you can work your way up to that. But still, get yourself situated. This is all trial and error. So we're going to set our palms here, right by our sides. Drive the hands into the floor, lift the butt off the ground, and it gives you a little bit of wiggle room here. As you can see, I can kind of just move around in this position. Either point the toes to the ceiling or point them straight forward and let them relax. Whatever you want to do, I'm just going to have you roll all the way down, all the way up. Always remembering to breathe throughout these. Do not hold your breath. If you need a break and you need to relax, or you want to do just a small area of the muscle first and then kind of sit your butt down, you can scoot yourself back, hit a different area, take a break for a minute, boom, get right back into it. But I want you to be slow and deliberate as you roll up and down the muscle. I don't want you guys to do this, I don't need this, like any weird movements. Try and keep yourself locked into one position and just smoothly roll yourself back and forth. Now a good tip with the calves, if you want to apply a little more pressure and you found that's what they call a trigger point. So say this is my trigger point here. I'll sit there for a second, kind of set myself up. You can cross the leg over the other, lift yourself off the ground, and just relax. About 20 to 30 seconds here. If you want to make it a little more of an intense sort of session, you could point the toe towards you, flex the toe up, push the toe down. Flex the toe up, push the toe down. Just like you're pushing the car accelerator. So push the toe up, push the toe down. And what this is doing is actually moving the muscle back and forth, so you're flexing and then relaxing, and it's kind of flossing that tissue to try and break up that little bit in between. And obviously once you finish one side, transition to the other. And what I like to do after I'm done both of the sides is kind of rest on top again and do just a light roll through for about 5 rolls. Go all the way up and down. And once you finish that, relax. So we're going to go from the calves right to the back of the leg, the hamstrings. The hamstrings are a very large muscle, just like your quads are. Cover the front and the back of your leg. So they get very, very tight as you walk. Maybe if you're a runner, hamstrings kind of slow you down on the way, so they might get a little tight. So I'm going to pull the foam roller up underneath, almost underneath my butt. So as I do this, just kind of hold it here with one hand. I'll lift myself onto the foam roller, get myself set. So I'm contracting my glute muscles right now to try and keep my hips up. So then I'll extend my legs out so they're lifted off the ground here, and then just little slight rolls back and forth. Now, one problem I often see when people begin to foam roll their hamstrings is that they don't feel enough pressure. Now, this can be really difficult because you are kind of sitting on top of it. If you lack the range of motion to kind of sit down on it, you might not get enough pressure. So if you have a partner at home, if you have a buddy who really wants to torture you, you can have them push down as you're up on the foam roller. So they're going to apply the pressure downward as you're rolling back and forth, so you can kind of get a little bit more of an intense release. So I'm just going to do a couple passes. Do about 1 to 2 minutes per body part of this rolling. You're kind of just seeking out those trigger point areas. So I'll say I found mine again. It's right about here. I'm going to confirm it by kind of putting some pressure down. Roll back and forth. Yep, it's tight. So to amplify this pressure on that spot, I'm going to pick one leg up, cross it over the knee, and what this does is kind of acts as a dead leg. So this is my assistance, or my little helper, as you would say. So I'll set myself up again, hands by my side, pick the butt off the floor, let that leg just hang above the knee, and I can roll into my spot. There it is, and just relax. 20 to 30 seconds, then swap sides and just continue moving. So I'll relax here. Our next spot is our glutes. So I will bring this foam roller behind me, scoot up a little bit here for you. Glutes are very tricky because you're actually going to be sitting yourself on top of the foam roller. So I'll position myself here and get this set up. I'm going to do one side at a time. Now, if this is too much pressure, if you feel like, oh man, this is really killing me, you can kind of just post your hand here and then use that as a sort of your meter or your gauge to kind of lower yourself down, allow more pressure, hold yourself up for a little bit less. But if you can just sit here and relax onto the foam roller, I have my weight fully pressed down onto it. It's not that much pain, so that means my tissue isn't very tight. So I can kind of do a few passes here to maybe find another area that is going to bother me here. But after a few, if you're like, man, this really doesn't feel like anything, you're going to take that leg that's straight out in front of the leg, and it's going to be the same side that's resting on top of the foam roller. You're going to take it, cross it over the leg that's posted down here. So you're going to make an L with that leg over top of the other. And what this does is open that glute up. So you're kind of stretching that muscle out, and you're going to expose everything underneath. So you can stay here, do a few rolls back and forth, maybe a little side to side wobble. And same concept as the rest of the body, you're going to do 1 to 2 minutes rolling up and down. Once you find that spot, 20 to 30 seconds. And this sort of amplifies that the pressure a little bit, because you're really just resting on that one side. And then relax, rinse and repeat on the other side. The glutes are a very large muscle, so it may take you a few sessions to actually get some release. You use them all throughout the day. Same thing with your legs and your calves. You don't really work your calves out as much. They're really Hi guys, this is Ryan at Trinity Medical, and I'm here to give you a basic rundown of foam rolling today. So as you see, what I have here is my little collection of foam rollers. Very different sizes, as you can see. We have some of the smaller ones here. This is a little more dense than some of the bigger ones like this. These tend to lose shape very quickly. This one I've used for probably about 8 months, and it hasn't really gotten that imprint yet, which you'll see in a lot of these foam rollers. They kind of have a little dip. So we have a variety here. This one actually has PVC inside, so it's a little more dense. It's going to give you a little bit more pressure. And they also have these nub side and the flat side, so you can kind of transition back and forth here. So what I'm going to give you today is a basic routine. We're going to start at the calves, go to the hamstrings, glutes, upper back, and then the quads, and we'll finish it out there. And the whole point of this foam rolling routine is you can use it as a warm-up, you can use it as your cool down, your just basic mobility for the next day if you're feeling a little stiff. But a lot of people tend to neglect some of these smaller areas, and the hamstrings are kind of hard to roll out. So I'm gonna give you some tips to try and help yourself. All right, so we'll get right to it. What I'm gonna do here, I'll use this medium-sized green roller. Now these are a little less dense, as I said, than this black one here. So it's not gonna give you as much pressure, but you should still be able to feel some relief. All right, so starting with the calves. Place the roller right about mid-calf. So you'll see, set myself here, set it right at a nice even width. Hands placed right by your side. And what we're going to do, you're going to drive your hands or your palms into the floor, lift your butt off so you have some wiggle space. As you can see, I can kind of wiggle my hips back and forth. You can either point the toes up to the sky, point them forward, and you're going to begin to roll. Now this, you're going to roll for about 1 to 2 minutes, and what this is going to give you is it's going to give you those trouble areas. As I keep saying, those trigger points. It's where your body goes, oh, that's not good, this doesn't feel good, it's very uncomfortable. So remember that, and we're going to come back to those probably 1 to 2 minutes. Now, I've rolled through, say I found my trigger point, I'm going to rest, set myself up, kind of confirm that that's where it is. You can kind of push. If it's really that tender, you will know, you will find it. So I'm going to set myself here. If I want to apply a little bit more pressure, use the off leg, cross it over. So all you're going to do is use this as like a dead weight to apply more pressure down onto the leg. So same setup, hands by your side. You can take a deep breath in and lift up. Give yourself some wiggle room, and you can kind of just relax here. There's not really much movement that has to be done. Once you find that spot, you really want to kind of just mash that muscle and kind of strip it away from the tenseness and get the tissue kind of loosened up. So we'll stay there for about 20 to 30 seconds. If you have a few spots on the same leg, you can stop after the 20-30 seconds, kind of roll out again, find that other area, do the same exact thing and repeat. And obviously you're going to do this on both legs as well. Now if this is too much pressure with this leg being on top, place this leg next to it, place it on the foam roller if you need to, whichever is comfortable for you, and you'll just lift up again and just keep that weight on that leg. Alright, now next is the hamstrings. Once you've done both sides, obviously you're going to transition to the next spot. Next is the hamstrings. Pull the foam roller right up against the back of your leg until you can't really get it up there anymore. And what this does is it kind of holds it in place for you so you can set yourself up. And you can also kind of just lift, get under it just a little bit more. So same setup as the calves, hands by your side, deep breath in. And I like to just pick myself up over top. So as I'm here, begin to roll back and forth. Always remember to breathe. Please do not hold your breath throughout this video or any sort of foam rolling session or any sort of exercise. It is not beneficial for you. Kind of puts you in a bad position throughout your everyday life. So always breathe. Always breathe. Now same thing with the calves. If you find that you have some sticky points, so I'll say this was mine. Find it here, double check, good. Take the off leg, cross it over the knee here. So I'm just making like a little tabletop here to push some pressure down. So you might be tight, and maybe if you can't get into this position, You can kind of just cross the leg over as well, as opposed to bringing it like this. Kind of just cross it over where the knee is, making sure you're not applying any extra pain on the knee or any pressure on the knee. And then you're going to do the same thing as you did with the calves. You're going to deep breath in and lift. Like I said, 20 to 30 seconds on each of these spots. So if you start to feel some fatigue and you get a little shaky, take a rest. You can always come back to it. It's not going anywhere. I really just want you guys to focus on those spots that are giving you some trouble. So I'll lift back up. And have a timer with you if you don't have a convenient clock anywhere. You can always set your phone next to you and kind of just click on. Take your before you set your stuff up, click the timer on, and then lift. Stop, repeat on the other leg, and we're gonna keep moving here. So next is the glutes. So with this, I'll roll the foam roller behind me, kind of position it on the small of my back here, right that little gap between my low back and my butt. And I'll use one hand, plant this leg here, and then sit on top of the foam roller. Only on one side. So what this kind of just targets the left or the right side depending on what you're working on. But I'm going to do the left for the sake of the video so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here as I plant with this leg, use this leg to kind of cross over. So with the glutes, you're going to just plant the leg here